Hello, welcome to another of my pipe smoking videos. Thank you for joining me. I'm just having a glass of milk actually. It's been a hot day down here in jolly old Sussex, down on the south coast, and earlier in the week, I don't know if you watch Father John, the Parson's Progress, he said, God, blimey, Richard must be absolutely sweltering because I light the Essie. It is actually just here off camera, but it is on. And it is lit because that's the only way I can cook. You see, I have to use logs, and funnily enough, I've just had a log delivery this morning, and earlier I was out there stacking them, and I've got some old odds and sods down here of logs, a little more kindling, which actually putting that in an old shopping basket is not a sensible idea because all the crumbs, as it were, just drops right the way through and is now all over the floor and all over me, but never mind. Anyway, so yes, he's quite right, but I have got used to the sweltering heat, even on a sweltering hot day. The door is open, the windows and what have you, but actually the house generally, it does stay relatively cool, which is quite nice. It does warm up a bit when the S is on, of course, but otherwise it's quite cool, but not cold. In the winter, of course, it does get cold. I mean, the advantage I have is I'm in a terrace, so you have insulation on either side of the house, and then you either have blasted with heat or blasted with cold either end. The south end, sorry, this is the north end, is always cold. So the kitchen is always cold unless I light the Essie, whereas the front end, which is on the south, gets the sun. So anyway, to answer that question, John, yes, that is it does get hot. And I can tell you that milk is delicious. It's creamy, it's raw milk. And we went to the farm shop the other day and by golly, I need it. Tonight, I'm going to smoke this pipe that was gifted to me. Thank you very much. It's a lovely pipe. I'm getting more and more used to it all the time. It is a Rossi, Italy, part of the Savinelli group, I guess. And as you can see, it's around it. I featured it the other day, so got an itchy nose. It's always when you start filming, you suddenly get, you know, an itch somewhere or a tickle somewhere or something in your eye or whatever. And talking about my eye, I hope it's open. I can't always tell. You know, I've got an artificial eye. I tell people enough times. But it does sort of have this habit of closing down at night when you're tired, and I'm a bit tired. And sometimes when I'm filming, in order to try and keep it open, because it's only the artificial, what do you call it, the acrylic thing. Forget that, I must be getting dementia now because I'm forgetting these words. The prosthesis, thank you. The prosthesis, it's holding the lids up, and so sometimes I have to swivel the eye around like that inside the socket to get rid of all the sort of mucus and pug, as I call it, which starts to glue the eye together. It's not a pleasant thing. I won't do it here. Now I've got some gifts and things which came in the interim between the midway week, and thank you for your comments about the midway week. Now we'll get going straight away, but the question is, what shall I smoke? Because I was very kindly gifted some pipe tobacco samples, which was very nice. So let me just get onto that and tell you who sent it. This is from Christopher. You know who you are, Christopher. And he says he'd been smoking a pipe for 9 days now and has already purchased 3 pipes. I also purchased samples, and I'm sending you the samples I don't like because it saves wasting them. Well, that's very kind of you, Christopher. So anyway, he made a donation, which was very kind, and we got in touch, and he said he'd send me these samples. So what has he sent me, and what am I going to smoke? They say come in little pouches like this. So we've got Samuel Goldworth Squadron Leader, which I have a mind to give a go. I'm going to leave that on one side. There is, and you can tell me whether you smoke any of these, Samuel Goldworth Full Virginia Flake, which sounds lovely. We have Goldworth Hogarth Cherry and Vanilla, AM. I don't know what AM stands for. AM. We have Goarth's Pipe Tobacco Vanilla. We have Sherlock Holmes Pipe Tobacco, which I've actually smoked and I've got from Peterson's. And I do like that, actually. I might get some more of that. I do like the Sherlock Holmes. This is from Sutcliffe, and it's an aromatic called Mount Street. So I've tried very limited amount of Sutcliffes, which I did enjoy, but in small amounts, and you've got to be in the right mood, I think. And then this one is a Cop, K-O-W-P, Caribbean Blue Drake Pipe Tobacco, aromatic. So I have a mind, as I said, to do the Squadron Leader. So these are others, which I may or may not sample on the show here. It would be obviously quite nice to do that. And I'm going to smoke it in this pipe. And I'll tell you what other things have arrived and what damage I've done to the universe. So let's see what this is like. I do like Samuel Goldworth tobaccos on the whole. They're relatively cheap. I mean, all tobacco is expensive, so it's relatively cheap. It's middle of the road, isn't it, I think? What I'm smelling is a plastic bag. So I'm going to use this marvellous thing that was sent to me, and I'm going to chuck in there what I think is about the right way. Do all of it. And pack the pipe. I was at a book launch yesterday evening, I'm recording this on the longest day, the summer solstice, so this will go out tomorrow on the 22nd of June. And yesterday, the 20th, I don't know if you can hear those noises off. The park is not too far from me, and they've got an alternative festival going on. Something's going on anyway down there. Noises, I can tell you that. Probably a fairground and whatever. Right, I'll come back to put that away a bit later on. And it was a book launch, and I was there to interview the lady whose book it was that was being launched, which was very nice. And people were there with canapes and dressing up nice and posh and talking about books and things. And I wondered, because I'm very close to the end of my book now, I wondered what am I going to do when I go to publish it? And also I'm still sort of, how am I going to go about publishing it? I'll talk about that in a second. Let's get this going. This is, I say, old chap, chocks away, don't you know, bandits at 5 o'clock. Squadron Leader. I'm not sure I've ever had this. So, do let me know, itchy nose, do let me know if you've had it and what you thought. But thank you so much, Christopher. There's so many names I've got to try and keep in my head. But so that's so kind of you to send me something. People are so kind, aren't they? They really are. So let's just give this a few moments of... I must remember to turn the fridge on. I'm saying that because when I edit this or watch it through, I'll probably go, oh, crikey, I forgot to put the blooming fridge on. Because I turn the fridge off when I'm recording because it hums and it just makes... And you'll always hear it if I've forgotten to turn it off. Because it's a loud bugger. But if I forget in this temperature, what with the SE next to it, you know, everything will just melt. And I don't want my raw milk coagulating in the fridge. That is delicious. And actually, raw milk and a pipe do go together quite well. They're good palate cleanser. So I'm enjoying this. This is quite mild sort of thing. Very nice. Look at the way the smoke is hanging. I do like smoke. I like a tobacco with a bit of, you know, visibility. Especially when you're on a smoking channel. You know, I think it's important to see the bloody stuff, isn't it? I have actually got the door open as well, so it's not terribly windy in here at all. Anyway, let's crack on. I want to show you some other bits and pieces. I'll come back to the book launch thing in a minute. I had this. Look at this. I hope that's in focus. Can't tell. But this is by a chap called, now, I don't know if it's Michael, and just the way he spells it, or Mickle. But he said he'd got something for me, and he thought it would suit me, and he wanted to know my address, and I gave it to him, and he sent it. And on the back of this, which will go on the wall somewhere, it says, "To Richard, a seasoned, wise man." See the likeness? It's got two perfectly good eyes. Yeah. But I think that's lovely. I don't know where I'll put it. I'll try and get it on one of the walls that I use to film in. But for the moment, can you see it there? Itchy nose. God, dear. What's going on? Right, so I'm enjoying this. This is very nice. Thank you. After the odds and sods that I was smoking midweek, it's nice to have a pucker blend again. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Which one, maybe somebody can tell me, which of the different tobaccos is the one that gives the biggest amount of smoke? Because I do like that. Now, there's a little bit of drift in here, isn't there? Next up, I got this letter. Now, this is probably, I don't know whether this lady watches this channel or my other channel, but I thought I would read a bit of it out on this channel. Her name is Jo, and she says, I'm a lover of your podcasts. Thanks so much for all you do. I hear on your pod that you are a great reader of A.G. Street books and admire for all the something or other. Handwritten letters are lovely, aren't they? But we all have unique handwriting, and sometimes it does take a bit of time to decipher things. Anyway, she says, I've included a cover of one of my already books that I've had, should you not have it. I'm more than happy to forward it. I don't need the cover back, by the way. I've got a photo of it. Anyway, that's what she says. And this is what she sent, which is the dust cover. This is A.J. Street was a farmer in the 1930s and 40s. He was a broadcaster as well. He did appear on radio and television. But he was principally a farmer, and he wrote books, mostly farming books, and he wrote books about his life, books about what happened to on his farm, his thoughts and various things. But he also wrote novels. Now, I don't know whether Sweet Acres is a novel or one of his, this is what, an element of farming on his life. Let's just find out. Tom Avery, the owner of Sweet Acres Farm, was a good farmer and an efficient and healthy man whose bluntness of speech and manner made him unpopular with the majority of his neighbours. It was a matter of great sorrow to him that his only son, Simon, was born as a cripple and the only imperfect animal on Sweet Acre Farm, and his mother dying at birth. Father and son have little in common. The boy finds farming uncongenial, and shortly after his school is finished, Simon leaves home and goes to London, where he works for the bank. Oh dear. He does not return to the country until after his father's death, when, primarily attracted by the fishing rather than any thought of taking up agriculture as a career, he takes possession of Sweet Acres, learns to farm, and to his surprise finds that he enjoys country life and the complexities of modern agriculture enormously. Practical farmer himself, A.G. Street has, in his writing and broadcasts, contributed much as any man living to the understanding by townsmen of life in the country. Sweet Acres is a very human tale written with enthusiasm, knowledge and humour that distinguish Mr. Street's writing, which appeal to countryman and town dweller alike. And if you wanted it back then, it's 12 shillings and sixpence net. So I do like this pipe because even though I stopped talking there for a moment, it hasn't got out. Oh, this is AG Street on the back, look. That's him. If I do that, does that go in focus? Who knows? So anyway, Joe, if you are watching, yes, please do send it over. We've read a number of these. Julia and I, in the evenings, like to read to each other out loud. And it's good practice to read out loud. And I find it slows you down, because when you sight read, you read very quickly. But when you stop and you read out loud, you think about the actual sentence and you take more in, I think. Maureen doesn't mind. She's a lovely lady. Anyway, let's give that a boost. The other thing that came today was this. Another book. The Commoner's Cottage. The Story of a Cottage Through the Ages by Francis Mountford. Now, before I get onto this and who sent it, I bought some years ago when I was writing a story about a farm based in Sussex during the Second World War. I bought this book, and this is by Francis Mountford, Heartbreak Farm, a farmer and his farm in wartime. And it was her story with her husband of what happened to them on their farm. And it was so beautifully illustrated. I just love it. I'll demonstrate. I don't know whether I've shown these pictures or not, but they are just beautifully done. You see that? And on the back there. I love that. All in watercolour. Well, this came, somebody wrote to me and said, oh, I know you're into farming and what have you, and cottages, and you're looking for your own perfect little place of land. I've got this book, would you like it? Well, I said, yeah, no, of course. I'm up for old books, love old books, farming books, agricultural books, books of the old times, storybooks, any old thing. Books, I just love books. Can't get enough of them, actually. And I like to try and read them. Anyway, it came today and I noticed immediately, I went, I recognise that. Francis Mountford. So, again, beautifully illustrated, just with, lovely, easy pictures. Now, this was sent in. Again, I don't know if this lady watches this channel, and I'll have to sort of thank her on the other channel and send her an email. But it says, thank you for all you do. And this is from Rhonda. R-H-O-N-A. Is that Rona? Rona, beg your pardon. I'm not very good with names. Don't ask me to do names. Unless your name is Bert, Fred and Harry, I'm not much cop. So, how about that? I don't want much in life, really. Some tobacco, some good books, some countryside, and I'm happy. I don't need to go chasing after, women, fast cars, big houses, big business, deals and all of that. Don't need any of that. Never have, funny enough. Never have. Always wanted to make films, but charming films. Children's telly, I was fascinated by that, but quality, comedy stuff. Comedy itself, visual comedy, and some verbal comedy, but nice, but charming, That's really what I was into. But life takes you down some very strange paths, doesn't it? And here we are now, potentially, hopefully, Julia and I, on finding our own little bit of land, running a little farm of some description, and thinking about traditions and doing things in the old-fashioned way, in the gentle, charming way. And these sort of things, they all help. They all help paint that picture and make these things happen. And it is an amazing life. And you've got to have faith, haven't you? You really have got to have faith and believe that these things are going to happen, and never let go of your dream, because the minute you let go, and also, as Father John says, put that down payment on, buy something, do something, make something for the life that you want. I think that is very important. I think that says a lot to your gods, to your universe, to the creator, whatever it is, whatever you believe, if you believe anything. So, I'll just come back to the book launch that I was going to talk about briefly, because I think I've probably gone on long enough now. What time is it now? Yeah, I think so. We don't need to make these mega. I don't know what I'm going to do. Not quite sure how I'm going to print it. I don't want to print it. I don't want to release it on Amazon. Amazon's such a big corporation. And although it's got all the contacts and all the rest of it, you know, I'm interested in small, independent, family-run, this sort of thing. The small guy doing good. And it's too easy these days just to go, yep, I'll bung this on the big corporate thing. Let them have the rights to it. Let them make most of the money, and I'll get a small percentage. But maybe sell more, but not necessarily, you know, you're not sticking to your own ethics or your own morals. And I think it is important, if you believe something, that whilst it is easy to go down a line, oh, it's convenient, you know, a supermarket will deliver to your door because you can't be bothered to go out there. But in my mind, making the effort, engaging with people, helping the small independent people keep going, crafts, artisan foods, pottery, whatever it is. I know it might be more expensive, but it's people with a heart, people with a dream, people who have their own gods and their own faith. I think that's so important to support them, rather than just, oh, it's convenient, yeah, we'll go with the big corporations. And so I don't want to put my book on Amazon. Now, there is Lulu.com, which is another corporation, I admit, but it's not as big and well known as Amazon, and they do practically the same service. And it may be that I do have to do that, but if I had enough money, I would love to print off the books myself, have them done, go to a printer, family-run printer, you know, little private business, have them done properly as books, maybe even with a dust cover, you know, like this, a dust cover. Imagine that, as a real book, and not one of these pseudo books, if you like, that these companies kind of knock out, that everybody does because they're cheap. But we don't always have that luxury, of course. So I may do some, and they may be special editions. But I'm on the epilogue now, so I'm hoping that by the end of next week it's all done and it's ready for proofreading, and then ready for laying out and setting up and printing. So there you go. Anyway, that's me. Thank you so much for my wonderful gifts. It's so kind of you. I really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed smoking your pipe with me. I think I've come to the end of that bowl, but I've still got a little bit more of Squadron Leader. I say, tell you, old chap, let's go and get those bandits at 3 o'clock. Marvellous stuff. Good stuff. Chocks away. So until next time, keep smoking a pipe, toodle pipe, and have a good one. Till then, bye-bye. Keep blowing the bloody thing out. Keep blowing the bally thing out, don't you know?